Hey guys, welcome back to the Made Men podcast. This is David Sloan and my co-host Adam Carroll. Adam, how are we?
Not doing too bad now, Dave. How are you?
That's brilliant. I'm tipping away,
Yeah.
chilling. I became blind since the last episode.
Got a
Um,
pair of blue light glasses.
yeah, no, I got a pair of blue lights. We'll see how they
I
go.
think I'm a bit of a trendsetter, really getting them before you, but
Yeah,
in the space of 2 days.
yeah. Well, today we've a good, interesting one. We're going to be discussing
Absolutely.
a topic that will probably be in multiple episodes throughout the future. But the fitness industry, we're going to get cracking on that. We'll see where it goes today. Who knows what we'll discuss. But Adam, why don't you give me a little bit of a history to when you started kind of getting involved in the old gym, and what did you do? Who did you learn from? That kind of a...
Yeah, no, and yeah. So for me, I got into the gym. I think it was fourth year. I went so the first time I ever stepped foot in a gym was when I was in third year, but it was the summer when I went to Spain, and we were I'd only go on the cardio machines with my mum, I wasn't even allowed to use machines. So what age you then, 15 or whatever? So I couldn't even join a gym then, and it was grand. It's you watch the other people around while you're just doing cardio, and you just see these big fuckers. You're just wow. Especially in Spain, I thought over there it was really predominant that people were taking steroids, but at the time you wouldn't know because you're just getting into it. And then for me, I got into it then around fourth year summer. I joined I joined Roachstone Park Hotel, where I end up working in as a lifeguard later down the line. But and I just remember just falling in love with the gym and stuff. And I think thinking about it now, I think I made every single mistake, and every single mistake under the sun. I think when someone joins the gym, that every single person makes the exact same mistakes, unless they obviously go in with someone that
what mistakes are those?
Oh Jesus, going in and just not knowing anything. So you just go from literally machine to machine. You're doing these exercises that you might have saw a YouTube video, and you're just yeah, this is class. You go in every day and you do the same thing. So you start off with bicep curls, which if I was to do that now, I'd be what are you doing? You know what I mean?
You go from bicep curls to calf raises to bench press.
That's exactly it. And other mates then
you're walking around like you're in a toy shop.
yeah, exactly. You're looking around. A huge thing there was when you'd watch YouTube, especially 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago now. You see fellas online there saying, oh, doing sit-ups will burn belly fat and shit, and they're the things you'd be oh, makes sense. You're working out you're working out your abs, you're going to lose the weight, the body fat.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really serious into the gym for until about maybe fifth year. I started I was doing a lot of research myself, watching a lot of YouTube, and also with that one of my best friends, who could be one of your good buddies as well, Michael Fay, we went together for I think that fifth year, and I think we just both became obsessed with the gym for that year. I kind of even, it was kind of a huge escape route for me as well to go to the gym over because I wasn't that great in school. I didn't you'd study one time, and if you don't get a good grade the next day in the class, oh, this isn't for me. So by going to the gym afterwards was just the best thing ever, and you just get a good routine, and you get more buddies involved, and that's how you build even more relationships and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I made every mistake, I think, when it came to joining. And I think a lot of people did the same kind of thing. And the big, huge problem was thinking about it now, was definitely YouTube. You look up how to get say bigger arms, or how to become stronger or whatever, and you get this such misguided information. It's completely changed now, definitely. Or maybe not. I see, because I know who to look up now on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, because that's the thing. you see those adverts there and stuff, and you're like, what am I eating today?
Yeah, I think
Salad
it's
and a pizza.
I think it's definitely more easy to access great information, but that's only a small percentage of the actual information that's out there, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
So like, yeah, you can 100% find good stuff, but you've got to sift through
so much.
countless amounts of just absolute nonsense.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, that
I've
is so
actually,
true.
yeah, you touched on something there that I want to
Speak
open
of
up a little bit.
go on.
Why, like, what hooked you to it? Like you started it in fifth year, then it just really kind of,
Took
uh,
over kind of thing.
yeah, like why? What did you feel that was just like, yeah, I love this, and like got that kind of fire burning?
Well, for me, when I started properly, like making like a proper program, and you see yourself getting like a little bit stronger, you see yourself putting on a bit like a bit of muscle mass, and you're, at that moment you're like, oh yes, it's just it's nearly like an addiction, I suppose. It's a healthy kind of addiction. I wouldn't even say it's a habit because you want to go every day. Like at the time, I remember I was like, I have to go every day. Again, you're still a bit misguided, but I think for me, once I saw any bit of progress, and if I saw any bit of progress, that would just make me go, oh wow, like this is.
So am I right in saying that you went purely to change how you looked?
At the time, I kind of went because so what made me start going was one of my uncles who would have been big into the gym and big into football, soccer, whatever people want to call
Mm.
it. I know people
Ball kick, like.
um he was saying, oh geez, I was about 16, as I was saying, and he was like, oh, you're not going to grow much more, you might as well put a bit of muscle on those bones and that will help you, kind of a thing. And I was thinking, that's great logic, put on a bit of size, and maybe because I'm under 5'10" or whatever,
Undisclosed number. He
yeah,
could be 5'1", he could be 5'9", we don't know.
but it was definitely for like football and performance. That was definitely what started it for me. And then as it went on, I kind of I prioritized the gym more than I cared about like soccer. But now it's kind of changing back the other way as I got older. And I'm not really too keen on like putting on massive amounts of muscle now, as I was thinking like back in the day I wanted to do.
You don't want to be Dorian Yates at the moment, but like,
no, definitely not. Yeah. So what side did you do? What was the main reason?
yeah. So when I was in third year, that's really when I kind of was like, oh, there's a gym, and that's only when I kind of began to care about it a little bit. And I didn't go into a gym, but I bought dumbbells, and sure,
Yeah.
you be curling away there, and in your bedroom there, just oh yeah, sure, I might as well just whip them out and start curling, see what happens.
Everyone starts off with
I
bicep curls.
Yeah, but the funniest thing was then I'd actually have decent enough arms for my age, but then I would literally be flat everywhere else,
Yeah,
and I was just the most unproportionate looking
yeah,
thing ever. I didn't do legs, like, of course, ever, still don't, but and I moved to Canada, and I moved next. Like, I was interested in the gym, like I was still learning about it, but I wasn't in a gym or anything. I was just kind of more like, this is kind of interesting. I don't know.
yeah,
I kind of liked the idea of like, it's going to sound kind of messed up now, but like the pain of like you're building muscle and you kind of
yeah,
know
yeah,
that it's
yeah,
working.
yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
something's
And
happening. You know what I
that's
mean?
kind of an addicting factor as well. The
Yeah,
pain,
yeah,
the
100%.
the muscle kind of pain. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm feeling pain, so obviously something's happening, which is going to return in me being bigger or stronger or whatever. So
Yeah,
then when I moved to Canada, literally next door to me was a gym,
yeah,
like a 30-second walk across the road. And that's where things then went up. I went in there. Um, I got the member. It was a gym run by the government, which, by the way, I don't want to get into economics and politics and all, but I'm sorry. If we're looking at here, you've got a rare amount of gyms that are all privately run, like businesses, whereas in Canada, they would have gyms that were run by the government to promote health and fitness throughout everyone, and they'd have like ice hockey rinks, basketball courts, football pitches.
a lot to do with
Uh,
the healthcare. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and
the standard of living and stuff.
Yeah, let's do an economics answer for leaving cert. That will, in result, lower the amount of money put into the healthcare because you've got a healthier population that are
Yeah.
older and stronger and fitter, whatever. So yeah, the membership is cheap, like so cheap. It was €50 for a year. Take that in, €50 for a year.
Yeah.
You're paying that for a month here in some gyms. Now,
Certain gyms,
take that in mind that yes, it wasn't a full-on bodybuilding gym with like motivated fitness or anything. There was nothing crazy in there, but you had 2 squat racks, you with all like weights. You had a bench press that was like a specific bench press, that you could actually move out
Yeah.
in front of you, re-rack, and then that would fling back in, and you'd bench without it behind you.
They're actually a
There'd be
lifesaver. I
yeah,
used one before. Oh my
they're
god.
very good,
That
very good.
initial takeoff on a bench. Oh my!
Yeah,
Your shoulders are on the ropes.
yeah, it was brilliant. And then I was like spoiled then because of that. Because when you come back here and you're in a normal bench, you're like, oh my god, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, they had everything that you needed. But what I liked about it was, because I was living in kind of a rich old white area, like there was a lot of old people that would go in there and use the treadmills, and everything else was kind of free enough. So I would use whatever I wanted whenever I wanted, and then I started to see kind of people coming in doing stuff that they were obviously doing it for years, like American footballers. There was one fella, I'm not even joking now, you're gonna laugh at this. He's about 6'7", I would say, 6'8". No joke, about 150 kg, like huge, like
Big boy.
massive. Like he would probably, if he cut, he would be like bodybuilder, like ready, like he was ridiculous. American footballer
How
for
old was he?
college. He about 25, 24, around that. He was enormous. Now what to put into perspective what he was doing. He was doing, like the lateral raises with dumbbells.
Yeah.
He was using like 35 kgs to do those. Does that make that?
No,
Isn't that absolutely
was,
mental?
yeah, I'd have to check the form on that one, but
I'm not even joking now. He was using, they were about 60 pounds, which is in and around 30, around that zone, kgs.
Yeah, it's about half in pounds.
Yeah. So like mental guy, and he was in there, and I was looking at him.
Son.
Oh yeah.
He's on the juice.
Yeah. You know what? He probably was. Like, thinking of it now, when you're a kid, you're looking at him like, oh yeah. But like, he's an American footballer. They're known for, juicing up on the off season and cycling off. His strength was ridiculous then. Like, he'd be warming up on bench with 2 plates, like. But I remember one day I was going for a 1 rep max of 1 plate each side.
Hey, big 60, big 60 keys.
Yeah, it was. It's crazy when you look back at the how you actually have gone. And I was like, "Will you spot me there in my little twig arms?" And I got 1. I went for the second, and I couldn't get it up. Your man just goes one hand, pulls it up, and puts it back in, and I just felt so bad about myself then from that on. But then it was kind of like a motivational thing as well.
No,
that like, oh yeah, I want to kind of get there. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, and I suppose the gyms over there would be kind of cool as well. That were you quite near yours? You were living
near. I saw the gym like from my window. I was literally
that's spot on.
10 seconds away. I'd go now. Like at the start, you wouldn't be going every day because you kind of wanted to get a taste for it and stuff. But when I got into a bit of a routine and I was coming home from school, remind you, school over there is early enough, so I'd be home at 2:30.
Yeah.
What was I going to do for the rest of the day? Like, I know I wasn't going to do home. I wasn't going to do homework. I had football training, which was usually late, so like 7, 8 o'clock. So I'd pop over to the gym before football, and then I started, when in football I got Olivier, who we had on the podcast. he was living near as well. Like literally now he'd cycle down about 5 minutes into the
Yeah,
gym. We'd go at the same time, and we probably did that for like a year and a half, year straight, where it was like nearly 4 days, 5 days a week,
yeah,
um, consistently. And it was kind of this little bit of a competition between us, kind of a thing, which
yeah.
was
No
good.
better than a partner. Yeah,
Yeah, it was good. He taught me so much as well because he was doing a lot. He was doing more than me before, I would say, because his family are kind of military family, they're
oh
obviously
yeah,
into
yeah, right.
fitness. They kind of
Yeah,
knew he had an older sister who was into the gym probably. Also, he's a very smart guy, loves science, loves food and like, the veganism and stuff like
yeah,
and football and how to be stronger as an athlete and all of that. So I learned a lot from him. But then we actually started watching. Well, I was watching Joe Delaney for a while,
yeah, yeah. I know you
and
got into him.
he actually was watching him, so we kind of bonded over that then, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, that's the best thing about the gym. I think. Well, one of the best things is definitely having a gym partner and stuff. You just kind of take your relationship to like a different level as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely like
definitely.
we bonded like like I was explaining this to actually Emer. I was explaining this just ages ago, or it could have been a few weeks ago. I don't know. Um, like you'd see people over here, right?
Hmm.
And it's nearly like to be a friend, you kind of like someone's calling over to someone's house or whatever for a while. Like I didn't step into Olivier's house for probably like a year of knowing him, even though he was around the corner from me, because it was just me and him were in the gym and in football together all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And we built like such a like one of the strongest relationships ever, with just like being in the gym together and being in football.
absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like it shows as well, like that in the gym and just doing stuff like that, like you're spending an hour and a half, 2 hours with someone just a day or every couple of days,
yeah.
it snowballs
Absolutely.
fast.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy the relationships you can build, and like not even that. Like when you do start going to the gym and you actually start getting into it, like the amount of like new stuff you will learn from, say now you're in the first year is ridiculous. Like if you actually think
yeah,
back on
and you
like
soak in
what you used
everything.
to know to what you know now, it's ridiculous. For me, I remember when me and another buddy in school, we used to always kind of speak about the gym and stuff, and eventually, you make like groups that you'd speak about like the gym and stuff, and then you'd start passing around like, oh, who
Mm,
you're watching on YouTube, and oh, there's a good video there and a certain workout, and I think for me, a YouTuber that I think I used to watch a lot and I used to learn a lot from was uh, back and forth. Yeah, maybe someone like see the thing is at the time I was watching like the Gymshark boys, like the David Lay, Dylan McKenna.
I'd never watched them.
See that's the yeah, exactly. But that's what me and Mike used to bond over. So we used to chat about like the Gymshark
Yeah,
lads. But
yeah, like
I
I
think a
remember
fair
you were very into them, and I was just
yeah,
kind of yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Someone, but like I wouldn't go to them for advice. I would go to watch them because they were just unbelievably strong, unbelievable
yeah,
yeah, strength and like physique wise, they were just class. Like,
yeah, they look
um,
great.
yeah. So, but for me, the first person who I actually started watching that actually gave me quite good information and that I learned from was definitely Rob Lipset. I know he's so cringe now and stuff. We don't
That's what
watch
happens
it.
when you take pre-workout before a game.
Yeah, that's playing against Cork Con. Yeah, so funny.
I was like 4 meters before the try line.
So funny. But yeah, no, genuinely, he actually, if you look back on his old videos, like 4 years ago, whatever, very good information. Like even when he
No,
went through
to
like
be fair to him, to be fair to
he's
him.
very good. And so that's how I found out about Joey Delaney as well back in the day was through Rob Lipstick when they did like their Q&A together and stuff.
Yeah. So
They had like a
actually,
good old relationship.
what are the first kind of top five that you listened to and that you still would recommend to someone that they'd, get some information? Let's say you were talking to some
Um
14-year-old, 15-year-old
yeah,
kid and you're like, right, bang on,
funny.
what are you gonna?
My one of my cousins there is getting into the gym and that, so I was kind of giving him a list of like a bit of information that I learned from like what mistakes I made at the start and how he could like maybe skip those to make like that bit more progression in that. But
Mm,
for me, I told him to watch. So the buff dudes are very good because they're entertaining whilst also giving like decent plans and like good information. Like they are funny, like, you know, especially for if you're a bit younger as well. Like they do like those like dramatic cinematic kind of things, you know, with their videos if you ever watch them. So the buff dudes would be a very good one. As you start get really into it and stuff, I would highly recommend Greg Doucette. That's someone who for me was like I started watching him about maybe a year and a half ago now. And
Actually, quick one on that. Did you see his video on Chris Bumstead being natty or not
oh yeah, I
when
didn't
he was
watch it, but
18?
I watched Fillion's video on it. Yeah,
Yeah. What do you agree with Filion?
yeah,
I
I
do.
absolutely agree
I
with
do.
Fillion.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry now.
yeah,
But anyway, that was off the topic. Go on.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, no, that's a good discussion though about when people do start taking steroids. But yeah,
Yeah,
for me,
we'll touch steroids later. We'll touch steroids later.
absolutely. But for me, buff dudes, Greg Doucette, especially on like when it comes to nutrition, I didn't realize when, especially, I wish I knew more about nutrition and like about diets and stuff when I was younger. Because I think I would have gotten to a way better shape and like even performance wise in the gym or with like football, it would have definitely helped more. Um,
Yeah.
but because he was very good for nutrition. Another person that I would watch for information, like to be honest, there's not really that many great ones if I'm being completely honest, like because there's so many like fake knives which I want to speak about as well in a minute. But I would mainly just stick to Greg Doucette and the buff dudes, and if I can think of any more, maybe Joey Delaney. But the thing is with his videos they're not really, they don't grab your attention that much. You know, it can be quite boring in some of them. I know he kind of does cool like edits and stuff, but for me, like if you're getting into the gym and you're trying to get information, you wouldn't. It's kind of hard to watch him to learn from it unless
Yeah, I
you are
get you.
really into it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, see, I did find that I was very into him, so
yeah,
it just like I liked his personality or whatever, so it just clicked, you know?
exactly, and that's why I'm thinking like something like the buff dudes now, or Rob Lipsett, even like just watch his old videos, not his like new lifestyle and like life vlogs and stuff. Like if you were to watch his old stuff, it's very very informational and it's very good information you do get from it. So probably those three would be the main ones. But
What
if I
about Jeff Nippard?
but that again, that's another thing. For beginners, I don't know.
Very scientific.
Is very scientific. Very, if you're into it, he's brilliant. I watch him quite a good bit. Not I stopped watching a lot of fitness YouTube because I feel like it's very repetitive now. But I do think
100%.
Jeff is one of the top dogs. If I was to tell you who I watch now at the moment, it would be more
Yeah.
kind of down the line of like more kind of funny comedy kind of things. So like Filion be a top dog now. I remember watching him like two or 3 years ago there, Mike, and we used to just have an absolute laugh. I'm glad you're getting into him now though.
Yeah,
But
I know, yeah. I'm late to the party, but
yeah, no, he's very interesting. He's a very funny guy.
what about Matt Does Fitness?
So again, he's another person for me that is a fake natural.
Ooh, you heard it here first.
No, he's a fake natural. It's like everyone says it, but just him. It's same with Mike Thurston. I do also think he's not natural. Like someone like Mike O'Hearn is not natural. And these are like three top dogs there that
What are you basing Mike Thurston on not being natural on?
just the way he can stay that lean and that big all year round. He never like his bulk.
Does he
like,
though?
What? Yeah, he does absolutely.
Because sometimes what they do is they'll recycle pictures like.
No, but I'm on about his YouTube vlogs. I think a lot of them are just.
Yeah,
like,
he is very lean all year round.
If you look at him in January and you look at him in December, it's the same. And I know a lot of people are now changing up their say instead of doing the conventional bulk, they're doing like a lean gain kind of a thing where they just like eat maintenance calories or just slightly above maintenance for a long period of time. But again, that's going off.
And it's also interesting that Mike Thurston had to get a hair transplant as well.
Yeah, that sure.
Considering
you could say that's genetics, but it's a lot.
Like it may be genetics. It probably is genetics, but it could have been sped up.
Yeah,
it could have been, but who knows?
Someone like see, because I feel like there is something to do with the Gymshark contracts with like David Labe stuff. The way they didn't come out about like their natural status and like, oh, what's his name? Not Steve. Is it Steve Cook? I can't think now, but
Steve Cook is the blondie fella,
yeah,
isn't he?
yes, yeah, yeah.
His huge chest.
But he took PEDs when he was in college. Like, he literally admitted it, but yeah, he says he doesn't take it. Greg did a very good video on it about a year ago now, but
I find it annoying when people say that they're natural now, even though
yeah,
they
no,
may have
that is
taken something ages
that's
ago.
another huge issue. Like, you know, they're like, it's not in my system now, but you still made huge amount of gains. Yeah, you might have lost a bit of it, but you still have the bulk of it. Like,
I think that could apply to Mike Thurston. I don't want to be a hater now, and it is a complete speculation. But right, if you're looking, did you look at his like whole body transformation thing?
Yeah, but
like,
that's the thing. Yeah,
like he was doing like professional like photo shoots and things at a very young age, and he really quickly got big. Like, I don't know, it seemed a bit too perfect to just be natural, you know, that kind of a way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with someone like Mike Thurston, especially when he came onto the scene, it was around the time where it was like anti-steroids, which nowadays it's like a lot more like, oh, if someone's taking steroids, it's nearly like oh, fair play, you came out and said you took steroids, instead of thinking like there was this whole long ass time where you didn't say you were taking steroids.
Gary Pineda is the biggest example of that for me.
I think Brandon Harden is the biggest one.
Oh yeah, he is as well.
Yeah, I think
100%.
because how big his channel got there,
His was
and
a
he was still
joke. Oh my god.
and he was like, "This is my first cycle," and then you're just like, "No, it's not, mate." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but didn't Gary Pineda as well say like, oh, he came out, he wouldn't say anything about it ever, and then he came out then, and everyone's like, oh, fair play, fair play. It's like, come on.
I kind of give Gary a bit of leniency here, because he never said he did steroids. He never said he didn't, but he just, as you said,
that's fair enough.
if you look at someone like Brandon, he came out saying, "Oh, this is my what was it, 15 to 20-year body transformation, natural in brackets," and that's why I kind of a bit more kind of pissed off about him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What about you though? Who would you recommend to people listening now to watch or to get some education from? Joey Delaney.
Let me whip up the old YouTube there, and I was looking through. Like, I think at the start, I had Joey D always. I had Rob Lipsett for kind of in and out periods where I would and I wouldn't. Glenn Gillen.
Oh yeah. Well,
I was watching Glenn Gillen for a long time, but
again, his kind of stuff does get repetitive. But if you
more entertainment, I think as well though. More entertainment. I think his personality is a bit funny. Like,
yeah, it is. That's for me as well. I do. No, this is the disclaimer. I do watch like Matt Does Fitness every now and again, and that. But
yeah, I used to as well
a
little bit.
It's more for entertainment more than like, I don't care that he takes steroids or anything. It's just that, you know, they're not being honest about it, and I genuinely don't care that people take steroids, because literally their livelihood is dependent on them looking
their body.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think a big one that I got into more recently, like in the kind of, I'd say last year and a half, maybe 2 years, was Thomas Maw, TM Cycles.
Oh yeah. Oh, I never said him, but yeah, great person for information and very good.
It's packed with information.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big one. Yeah.
His full, but like he balances entertainment perfectly with information.
Absolutely.
His vlogs are like nearly cinematic, and the editing is fantastic. Music's fantastic. He's a funny guy. But as well, I think he's very interesting in that he was actually open from steroids from the beginning, from day one, and he was honest and upfront about it. And people hated people like that, but he didn't care. And I think I have so much more respect for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think TM Cycles is one of the big dogs, and even like he goes on about like the coffee game, you know what I mean? He's like he's speaking about in detail and like taking a sip from the coffee, and everything he does, he gives like such great detail about why he does it, and like that's just
he invests money into his YouTube game. Like, he buys a nice camera, nice microphone, nice gear. He pays attention to the coloring of the videos, the color grading, the editing, the whole idea, the music that's behind it. I know that's nerdy stuff on my behalf, but I think that really does stick out. Like, as you know, this guy's he's a quality guy.
Yeah, no, he's very good.
Yeah, and then also recently, you know, Skinny Gaz, like Gary. I listen to a lot of their podcasts, the Triage Method podcast.
I don't
More
listen to
on the
myself, but
scientific side of things. Yeah, it's probably dead boring for a 15-year-old, like,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
fair enough. But it's, if you're going to learn about something in the most detail that you literally can, I'd say
yeah,
it's fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it in my head. But I do think Joe Delaney was the kind of big one for me, because he did touch on a lot of stuff. Like, again, similar to TM Cycles, he was quite
I,
entertaining and funny, but he also touched on nutrition a lot. For a guy, like, I don't think a lot of people touched on nutrition.
that's the problem. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's why I said like Greg there now for nutrition, because like the
he's
simple fact,
popped
like
up more recently though.
yeah, so he got like his first kind of claim to kind of fame. Like he was doing YouTube for years, not gonna like he was, but like the quality was shocking, and like he was literally taping on his phone, and like he even has up like him doing like deadlifts and stuff in the gym, like just quick clips, and you clearly see like his phone is like angled on a bench, and it's just him tearing weight off the ground. But no, when Brandon Harden, came out about his first cycle he did that time, Greg said, "Come here, I'll coach you and whatever." And then Brandon did like a response. So that's how I heard of Greg. They said
Oh,
so
I remember that
just
story.
just around that
Yeah.
area. So when that kind of came around, that's when I started watching him. And again, around that time, I was quite anti steroids. I always thought of such a negative effect on, like a negative view of steroids back then, like um but it's all like I as time went on, like I was thinking, okay, yeah, that's fine if you're like a bodybuilder and stuff, but other people shouldn't take it. And now my opinion has changed again to think anyone can take steroids if they want to. Like who am I to tell someone they should or shouldn't? Like, do you know what I mean?
So you actually, yeah, I know what you mean, but like,
If someone was living, say, working a 9 to 5 job somewhere, but loved the gym and had a great passion for it, fuck it. If he wants to take steroids, who are you to tell them not to if they want to look a certain way?
I would disagree there.
I wouldn't. Yeah, well, go on, hit me, why?
I agree. I'm like, obviously I'm on this complete liberal side of, like, I think they should do it if they wanted to do it, but I
Yeah,
don't think it's good to do it, if that
yeah.
makes
Well,
sense.
you could say the same about smoking or drinking. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't think I should be. I don't think steroids should be illegal. I think
Okay.
that that gets into territory where you're forcing then young people, like with anything that's illegal, really, they'll just shoot up whatever, and they don't know how much is good. They don't know what to do, really.
Yeah.
And I think that that's dangerous. But I do think the health, like
Risk.
the negative side to the health, I don't think that outweighs your ego to be huge. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, if you look at it this way, like,
Unless it's your job, unless it's
yeah,
like you're making money off it.
but that's the thing. Like, I that's how I used to kind of think about things. But if you look at it, you're going to a doctor, you're getting prescribed HRT, let's say, they give you the amounts or whatever, or you do your own personal research and you get this, you know, a doctor on your side saying, I want like, you can technically speak to a doctor about this and you can get your kind of
Get
way about it.
testosterone boosters,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I mean, if you're doing it and there, you're monitoring your bloods and your heart rate and sorry, your blood pressure, sorry, and stuff like that. And if it's in the normal range and it's clearly making you feel that bit better about yourself, or you're very dedicated to it. I mean, like, why should you be the one to say, oh, you can't do that, but you can smoke if you want? I
No,
just
I'm not saying
yeah,
you should.
no,
I'm
I
not
know,
saying
but I'm
like,
saying in
oh, you
general,
shouldn't be allowed. But I think,
yeah,
like, it isn't a good thing. Like, I don't think it's like, I don't think I can sit there and be like, you know what, it's actually a good choice for you to do that. I
well,
don't think so.
I would agree with you that it should be legal because like smoking's legal and
Yeah,
whatever.
I honestly, this is going to sound very bad. I think all drugs should be completely legal, if I'm going to be completely honest, and
Ye-
monitored through like programs and things. But that's completely liberal. Anyway,
Yeah, that's
forget that.
I remember you saying that to me as well, but you went more into depth, which I think would be a very
Yeah,
good
we'll
podcast to
do
speak,
a podcast on that
because
sometime. Yeah.
that's a thing where you need to really get your point across. But Yeah, when it comes to steroids now, when I first got into the gym and stuff, I kind of understand why at the time people weren't very open about their steroid use. I kind of understand it from like a beginner's
Oh
point of
yeah,
view, because if you're
yeah.
seeing that, they're like cheating and stuff. But nowadays I think it's way more accepting, and it's because of people like Greg and like TM Cycles and stuff. They really like paved the way for a lot of them. Like like when I started, I was thinking, oh,
But they're making money
you,
off that. They're making money off it. It's like their career. So I think I fair play. Go on, do it. Whatever if you want. If you want to become a
yeah,
bodybuilder, do it. But I think if you're working a 9 to 5 job and you like the gym as a hobby, I think the negative sides of steroids is going to completely outweigh. So I
but
would say like you have the right to if you want to, but I would highly recommend that you don't do it. And it's not a good thing.
you wouldn't recommend it. But I mean, like again, like that goes back to the thing. Like if you're keeping up to date with your doctor and you're following, you're watching your blood
Yeah,
stuff.
I think you can do it safely
Yeah, that's
to a
that's what that's
certain
what I'm saying. Yeah,
extent. To a certain extent, but I don't know. Is it like
I think if you know the risks you're taking, just like if you put a fag in your mouth, you know the risks you're taking, or whatever drug you put into your system, you know the risks you're taking. And I feel like if it's in a more of um, an educated environment, like with a doctor or whatever, I feel it's it's something that can be done. And obviously, it's not the safest thing for you. But I mean, if you're taking HRT because you've low testosterone, then fuck it, go for it. Like, you know what I mean? If you
yeah?
know,
But do you not see then the problem with the people taking steroids these days is the stacks that they're taking?
yeah, but I'm not on about them. I'm saying, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. If that's what they want to do as well, though, isn't that not fine?
That's a one-way trip to dying as well if you're taking too much.
I mean, yeah. But if you're being if you're educated on the
Like who is that
matter.
bodybuilder that died there? Like there's been a couple recently. Like recently, as in the last 5 years, there was one fella. What's his?
Oh, Rich Piana. Yeah, I used to
Yeah,
watch
like
him. Yeah.
yeah, like he died, didn't he? Because he
But
was on like
think about it
everything.
though. He like his mentality was bigger, just keep getting bigger, bigger by the day. He had
But there's
literally.
people like that.
I
There are
know,
people
I
like
know,
that.
I know, I know.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it
mean,
goes into body dysmorphia. Like
yeah. Well, yeah. I'd like to talk about that actually. What's your take on body dysmorphia? When do you think everyone has it? Whoever joins the gym, whoever steps foot in the gym, and that starts picking up weights, do they have it?
I no, I think I only think body dysmorphia kind of comes into play when it's negatively affecting other aspects of your one mental health and two like your overall life and like well-being. Like I think if someone wants to better themselves by feeling a bit better because they're stronger or bigger or more athletic looking, that's not body dysmorphia, because that's
No.
like saying someone who wants to lose weight is technically body dysmorphia, but someone who's anorexic is body dysmorphia, and so is someone who is literally like obsessed with gaining muscle or gaining weight and
Yeah.
looking at scales and numbers and what they're putting into their food. Like that's where I think when steroids come into play, you're stepping on the line of body dysmorphia, in my opinion. I think you're reaching a point now where you're going to take performance enhancing drugs. Now, let me just say that is for the normal, general, average person. Like if you're a
Yeah.
21-year-old who's just going to the gym, and yeah,
Oh,
you're getting
I
big,
wanted to say disclaimer in a second. Yeah, go on.
yeah, and you're getting big or whatever, and then you're like, no, I'm going to take steroids to get even bigger, and you get like obsessed in this, and you start taking stacks of stacks of stacks, and
Yeah, yeah.
that is body dysmorphia.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I didn't say that now, but um, when I was saying people should take steroids, obviously wait until you hit your genetic limit, or kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think like if you're 18, you didn't hit your genetic limit. If you're 20, even like 25 or something, if you
Okay.
start.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get
I
that
would agree
across.
with,
I didn't say
but I
that. Yeah.
think that's 99% are not that.
Exactly. That's that. But that's an issue. Then that's where it comes
So
into
that's
play.
why in my head straight away I'm like, no,
Yeah.
because of
Sorry. Yeah.
99% of the people are not.
No,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's sorry. Do you know when you say a
Yeah,
point
no,
and
I
you
get you. I
don't
get
say
you.
what you're saying. But yeah, if you've hit your genetic limit or whatever, and you want to take it to the next level, like obviously if you're 18 and you're like, oh, I want to put more size on my arms, you obviously will over time. You just need to take the time to do that. You know what I mean?
Like I think you shouldn't be taking steroids till you're probably like if you want to take that next step,
Yeah, yeah,
you should be you should be closing on 30 at least. Like you should
yeah.
be late 20s deciding to do that? You've been doing it, let's say, since you were 18, so you're doing 10 years.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when I'd be like, okay,
Yeah, then you think about it. Exactly.
yeah,
But the thing is, at that stage, when if you end up going to the gym for 10 years, you know, your whole thought on the gym might completely change. You might be like, all right, I actually just enjoy this to feel good, or you know,
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
There's
it's
like a little buffer period of you not just wanting to put on as much size as possible. It's like you just caring about your body.
absolutely,
If that
like
makes
every
sense.
year, my thought on the gym has, you know, my thought on what I want to do with myself in the gym has changed a lot. You know what I mean? It's quite interesting how that happens, though, isn't it? Like what you want different goals.
Yeah, so
As
like
time.
you used to obviously size, strength, blah blah blah. What is your goal now? So, or your mindset towards it?
Well, we're in a lockdown.
Yeah, well,
It's
let's
pretty tough.
hypothetically say out of lockdown now in a couple of weeks or months, whatever.
What I want to do is I want to get down to, so I was going very well there when the gyms were open. I got down to about 72 kilos, 71 kilos, like, and I was quite lean. I was thinking about going to about 70 and then just kind of maintaining that, because I felt like it was it wasn't too hard for me to do, and I was just thinking maintain that, you know, keep putting on do a bit of progressive overload, you know, keep just kind of stay around that way, because I like how I felt and I like how I looked as well. And I also felt when I was playing soccer around that time as well, like I was able to turn, you know, compared to when I was 80 kilos and I found it hard to turn. You're like, oh, 60
You're
minutes
like
have
a
gone there.
boss.
It's time to come off. Exactly. But for me, when the gym, I think when the gyms get open again, I'm going to just like go back to that and just kind of stay around maintenance calories then, kind of a thing, and just kind of maybe slowly make small progressions in the gym. I'm not really too bothered about putting on huge size now, but yeah. What about you, Dave?
Mm.
I know you stopped. You stopped a lot now. But like,
Yeah, yeah. So like,
what's your plan when you go back?
let's do a little little trip down memory lane. So like when I came back here, I remember whenever that was, because you know COVID has ruined my sense of time. I remember my appendix went.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I was down to
You
like
were
60. I was down to like 60
scrawny.
kg.
Yeah.
I was like a dying old man. Um, and I went on a powerlifting program that I basically kind of mixed together myself through
The conjugate method.
oh yeah, the conjugate method with Lewis, or is it Louis Simmons,
Louis Simmons and
and West
Westside
Side
Barbell.
Barbell.
Very interesting
Um,
guys, by the way. Yeah.
yeah, I went from 60 kg to 75 from the periods of end of October, like Halloween, to like so November, let's say, to about February, March.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously 10
That,
kgs of that is muscle memory as well. Um, and 5 kgs was kind of more muscle building then, probably, if I was to estimate it. Um,
yeah, and you'd be putting in like water weight and
yeah,
everything
water
on
weight. And
top of
then
that.
but I still wasn't on crazy calories. I wasn't eating any like ridiculous diet. Like I was eating my normal stuff, just eating more of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably be hitting like 800 to 3,000 a day, like nothing, you know, breaking the barriers of like 5,000 calories, like some people will
Yeah.
be doing.
Yeah.
And I was just consistency.
That's
And I,
basically main gain, and like exactly
yeah,
that's
and I loved that. And then when I came out off that kind of program and I went into kind of, you know, going whenever I wanted, and football really picked up, I dropped probably maybe a kg or two.
yeah.
I'd still probably, no, actually I'm wrong. I was actually about 77 and I dropped to about 75.
Yeah.
Just kind of I was chilling at 75, but now I'm dropped a little bit more. Um, and that's because of lockdown, not doing anything, and I've lost a bit of muscle. And as well, I stayed lean basically all year round. But as lean, I mean like I'm not 5% body fat. Like I mean like
No.
probably 12 to 15. And
Yeah.
then if I'm like really, really in season, you know, proper shredded, I'd probably be like maybe 9 or 10. Like, but that 9 or 10 looks better on a more muscular
Yeah.
figure
Fine.
than, you know, 9 or 10
I'd have to see with my own eyes, like.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how I know it when I'm getting to the kind of really, really low is I'm actually tired a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Um,
The thing is that's another thing actually. Since you said it, you made me think of people doing their body fat percentages and stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it.
like I probably wouldn't be 9. I'd probably be 10, 11 if I was to really. But you do. I carry genetically. You carry fat in different areas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like I would carry a lot of fat. I know it sounds funny, but actually on my stomach, everywhere else is very lean a lot of the time. And my arms, I find my arms get like get a lot smaller, and
Yeah.
you see they're more vascular looking like when you cut down. But yeah, so like straight away I know I'm lean when the abs are like really, really popping, because everywhere else is kind of stays the same in my eyes. I just am more veiny then.
You get vascular. Yeah.
Yeah, like across my chest and stuff, but that's very rare. Like when I was that lean, it was only for a short period of time, and I was
Mhm.
actually sick kind of for a lot of that, where I wasn't eating much. I was probably honestly eating about 2,000 calories a day,
Mm.
which is for a guy like who's in playing football in the gym and high metabolism. That's
Yeah.
nothing. Um, so right now, my goal is probably gain weight, but muscle weight, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to just go on a crazy
Same.
bulk and get
Lean
fat.
mass.
Like yeah, just slowly start tipping away at that when the gym's open. The summer, like after school now and summer on, I'll just kind of go consistently, eat good, eat right, eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
And like I'll be doing a lot more activity of like football and running and stuff. So it's not like I can put on any crazy weight
Yeah.
anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Um,
think with sport as well, it's kind of it's hard to gain muscle, but it's all like there's pros and cons. Like there's negatives in of like you're not going to gain a huge amount of weight because you're playing sport all the time or whatever. You
yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like I don't ever want to get down to like the 10% kind of mark
Because
again.
it's not
Like
necessary. It's do you know
yeah,
what
it's not like
I mean?
I have a picture of it where you can really see a difference of me normally. Like I have actually a picture of me at probably around the 10% mark, and I don't look bigger than I like at all, or look better than I do when I'm at the 15 and strong,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like, oh yeah, my abs aren't as shredded, but like everything else looks more kind of like stronger and more masculine, more like athletic looking. Uh, it's just you're not just like a kind of a little scrawny kind of like, you look like if you pushed him over he'd like fall over, that kind of way.
You look solid, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just healthier, I would say. Like it's just
Yeah.
healthier overall.
Yeah. No, I get you.
So
Yeah.
I don't see the need in getting down low at all, like ever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. There's like it's not necessary, especially for people who are playing sport. Like what are you going to gain from getting down to
Yeah,
8%, 9, 7%? It's just not necessary. And that's the thing as well. Just because we're on about body fat, sorry, it's about the like DEXA scans and like those body fat
yeah.
I think they're the worst things ever.
Well, did you see Tristan Lee did one in the water?
What did he get? I didn't watch it. Like I don't watch Tristan.
Like I want to say four
Yeah, yeah. Do you
four
know,
point
like
something.
when Ronnie Coleman did it, he got -3%. So
Like that's nonsense. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. It's very inaccurate as well. Like I remember Brian Shaw, the strongman.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
like I actually watched a couple of strongmen now that I say I like.
He's unreal.
Yeah, he's an absolute sound man as well.
Canadian as well, isn't he?
No, he's
Or he
he's
lives in
American.
Canada. He lived in Canada.
Yeah, I
One or
think
the
so.
other. Yeah,
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 no, he's definitely American though. He he did his DEXA scan and like his calves don't even fit fully into it. So how is that meant to uh,
yeah. Be
calculate
accurate.
the right? And the thing is, like if you drank a sip, like a gulp of water or whatever, that's going to completely change everything as well. Like I don't know. I just don't really like them. I think with like experienced kind of bodybuilders, and like Greg, they say I I would agree with a lot of what he says about body fat percentages. He's like very good at like eyeing it because he's obviously been doing it for years, and
He rarely like he knows, like when you see people who are lean, like Mike Thurston now, like
yeah.
he's on a high, he's probably on like a 10% body fat, but he's so big that it looks so much leaner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also the fact where he stores his fat is in in different
Yeah,
areas. Like
yeah.
for a large majority of men, they store a lot of their fat in their in their in their hips and their stomach,
Yeah.
abdominal area. And if you look at someone like say now Matt does fitness, he stores a lot of his fat in his quads and his hamstrings. He even says it himself. And if you look at him, it's quite clear. Like, but then like you see his chest and his abs are like, so like lean looking, and his like arms, like he looks quite straight.
Joe Delaney's similar, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. People like him and stuff. Yeah, so that's what I would say on like the body fats. It's such a hard thing to estimate from a machine point of view, but I think if you went to someone about a kind of thing, you could, if you were to like watch someone like Greg now and see him, like, he does this thing now on his YouTube. I didn't watch any of them actually, but it kind of saw the thumbnails of him saying the percentage of body fat his subscribers are. So I mean, if you watch that video and look at people and see, oh, that's quite similar to my position there, you can kind of work off it kind of that way,
you can only kind of give a rough estimation. Like when I'm
absolutely
like I was saying, like 12 to 15, like it could be 16, could be 17,
yeah,
could be
exactly
4, like, and when I say 10, it could be 11, could be 12, could be 9. Like you have no idea. But you can definitely kind of know when you're getting into the very, very lean stages. Like, when you're kind of floating around the 10, 11 mark. But you don't know then, like, the exact, obviously. But
and that's the problem with YouTubers. Then you have people like Greg O'Gallagher, the fella who does the intermittent fasting fella, the long black, what's it called? Phil did a brilliant video on him, and he's there saying like he's 7% body fat when he's just not, like, and then again that's misleading for people then to be watching.
Like when you get that low, like 3% is huge.
Like I don't, like,
know what I mean?
Rarely do bodybuilders hit 3%, to be honest with you.
No, I'm saying 3% difference, like between if you were 7 and you're at 10, like the difference between 7 and 10 is absolutely huge when the lower you get.
Bodybuilders on stage are around 7%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're probably 6%. Yeah. And when you're at 10, let's say, or 11, like they don't look close to bodybuilder.
No,
leanness.
Absolutely not. No.
They just are very lean. Like, you know what I mean? There's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Since we said bodybuilders, I actually I love watching. If I was to watch kind of more like more kind of not so much on like information, but like looking for like more kind of motivation, like what they actually do in the gym. Like watching some like Dorian Yates and stuff is such a wake up call as well to like.
Oh, yeah. The blood, is it the Blood and Guts?
Blood and Guts. What? That's a brilliant documentary.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and even like Generation or Pumping Iron, like with Ernie and stuff, and Franco Colombo and stuff. It's very, very good. And again, like when I was younger, I used to think they were like natural and stuff, and I think a lot of people, did as well. Like you watch, you like, oh my god.
When you're a kid, you're like, you don't even know the steroids.
And obviously, then you see who is and who isn't, and like I remember there was a stage like I even stopped watching people who like came out on steroids. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, I can't watch them and stuff. And then you obviously realize and come to your senses that like why they take them and that. But I wish people were a bit more kind of honest about things online and stuff. They are definitely.
But I think if they were fully legal everywhere, I think there'd be a bit more of a.
Yeah, because someone like Mike O'Hearn there now, who still says he's a lifetime natural, and if you look at him, he's
peeled.
He's huge as well though. Like Mike O'Hearn, like he literally, even like someone like John Cena says he doesn't take steroids. Like if you look at all the WWE,
you know what annoys me actually?
Steroids and stuff.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock is.
He's about 45 or whatever, and he literally has the lifestyle where he's flying around the world, he's doing movies, doing this, and you think he's not taking something to look good for his job, where he gets paid money to be big.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. If you look at like if you look at a lot of movies, actually, a lot of actors take steroids for certain roles. Like look at all like
Definitely.
if you're telling me Chris Hemsworth is not on steroids, like you know what I mean?
And Zac
He
Efron when
yeah.
when
Oh,
he got
for
peeled.
Baywatch that time, that's ridiculous. You know
And
what I
have you
mean?
ever read some of their workout plans?
Yeah, I know. Don't even
Oh
start.
my
Like,
God.
don't, because that's a huge problem. Like a lot of the celebrity trainers are literally the
The
worst for giving advice.
I
And
saw something where there was one guy that was caught for giving like he was like arrested for steroids, and he was a celebrity trainer with like so many people. I think it could have
yeah,
been Mark Wahlberg. Could have been Mark
yeah, sure.
Wahlberg's
He's
trainer.
another fella who took steroids for roles like Pain and Gain, and
Yeah,
what's it called was in that as well. Your man, Anthony Mackie, I think his name is. They like literally all of them, and it's kind of hard. Like I understand for people who don't watch YouTube and find out the information, or even look up on like Google and stuff about the information about who like steroids and stuff. But like if you're to watch a movie and be like, I want to be like that, it's very misleading for people who aren't in the gym and stuff. To want to aspire to be like that, because like people will say genetics and whatever, but a lot of it is to do with it is steroids. I'm not taking away from people who are on steroids. I'm just saying like a lot of like movie stars, as I was saying, The Rock, John Cena, all the like the WWE wrestlers are on it, and something that's happening now as well. A lot of the UFC fighters are testing positive
they've
for
been for
steroids.
ages.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
gyno on some of them.
Yeah, who was it again? I think it was
George St. Pierre, wasn't
GSP. Yeah, what's it called?
it?
Adesanya.
Canadian.
Yeah, I know who GSP is, but I'm on about a recent enough fight there about just like less than a year ago. Adesanya was fighting, and you could see the gyno around his nipple, but because he doesn't look huge, people think he's not on steroids. But there's a load of different
But
PEDs,
there's steroids for like the ones that
endurance.
Neil Armstrong was taking.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Endurance and stuff. Yeah,
That's what most of them take.
yeah, yeah.
Most of the UFC athletes take that, which is why I would believe that Conor McGregor isn't on it, because what's the thing that he's known for? Getting
But
tired
yeah.
in
But
all of his fights.
yeah, in saying that though, there is a photo I actually seen who is like proper gyno. But yeah, I think
Do you think he was
no,
taking some?
like it's very hard to tell, because obviously I can tell from looking at a bodybuilder or something like that. But when it comes to these people who don't look like they take steroids, but due to their performances, you can kind of have a better
Hmm.
kind of guess at things, I suppose, because it is kind of a guess, but like people like Alistair Overeem and Brock Lesnar and stuff, they
Oh
I think
yeah.
have been caught. And since I said that there, you can pass a drug test if you stop, like certain drug tests, if you stop taking steroids for a week. You can take steroids for
Yeah.
51 weeks of a year and stop taking it for 1 week. Your urine will come out clear, and bang, you can fight or whatever. And that is a huge problem that happened. Like that's what Matt Does Fitness did. He did a natural bodybuilding or natural powerlifting meet, and he was like,
Yeah.
I got drug tested and it came back negative. So maybe that's an indication for you people. Like, he literally just didn't take steroids
Like
for a week.
I have a buddy, right? And obviously I'm not gonna say any names or anything, but he was playing American football, and
Yeah.
he's probably the biggest person I've ever seen at his age.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. And he's a legend. He's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He cycles off, like he goes on cycles for like 6 weeks or whatever and comes off, and then like he'll take very low doses, to be fair to him, because he's very clever. He knows his stuff. Um, but like it's very easy to not get caught. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. No, definitely. It's definitely starting to become more hard to pass them though. The way there's
They show up at any time and all that stuff.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And but in saying that though, I like to think about like stuff like you wouldn't really hear much about though, is like the Olympics and stuff. I really want to know, about like Olympic athletes like on steroids and stuff, like someone like Usain Bolt or something. Like it's something to think about, It's something I find I have an interest in, like if he does take steroids, or if that's just he's just an absolute all-rounded
I don't know.
superhero. Yeah, but it's interesting, it's something to think about, like for sure. Like a lot of Olympic athletes there, like you look at them, you're like,
A load of them do.
You
But a
know,
load of them have they got caught and everything like.
yeah, because you look
A
at some
few
gym
Americans
there and you're thinking questionable. But again, they're just like just absolute athletes, as they say. See, I think it's hard for people in like the Olympics kind of realm there, because they do like different kind of contests during the year that isn't just the Olympics. Like
yeah,
it's quite a interesting topic, but it'll be very interesting to find out more about, I suppose, in the future. Now, yeah.
yeah. It's a complicated one.
Absolutely. What's your take on since we were on about it there, about like fake natties and stuff, and enhanced people who don't come out about it? What's your opinion on that?
I can see why they don't come out, because they'll automatically lose followers, lose money,
Do you think
lose.
so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine now, right? Mike Thurston, and you've got all of his followers who are, let's say, under the age of 18.
yeah,
Automatically, they're gone.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of their core fan base, who are like diehards, who would buy his stuff, buy his merch, but like you're gonna lose a lot of them.
Do you think people won't be as accepting if they didn't say they were natural at the start, or they didn't say they were unnatural from the start, or whatever?
Yeah, like I think if you say you're unnatural from the start, you'll get people following you who don't care, and they're respectful of, like TM Cycles. Like TM Cycles doesn't have a fan base of over 1 million people, and that's because he's just got a fan base from the beginning that were diehards of him. And I would say that he's nearly got a better fan base than someone like Mike Thurston, who could just be, the Instagram celebrity. Like,
I think TM Cycles does have very intelligent viewers, though, because I'm one of them.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but
No, I
if you look at
agree.
the comments and stuff, like it's the smaller channels who give the information, like Joey Delaney and stuff, who who will
They're
come.
smarter, like.
Yeah, it's if you actually look at the comment section and stuff, yeah, there's obviously memes and stuff, but it's quite intelligent and stuff.
Like Mike Thurston is smart. Like obviously he knows his
Oh yeah,
stuff, but I
absolutely.
think his whole lifestyle then kind of, I think, is like puts everything else in the shadow. Like, oh, Dubai traveling, oh, sun,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
festivals, and like, like he's living that kind of lifestyle that everyone is like, whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because see, the thing as well with like kind of fitness channels, you can't really, it's hard to branch into something afterwards. Rob Ipsy kind of did it with his lifestyle, and as you say, Mike Thurston, but it's very hard to get out of that. That's why I kind of like TM Cycles, because he kind of does, yeah, he does the training, but then now he's like adding in other things.
That's why I like Nick Bear.
Yeah, Nick Bear's a legend, but also a fake natty.
Well, like now he's obviously not on stuff, but he was, I'd say, when he was
Absolutely, yeah.
in the
In the
army.
military, yeah.
But on him, I think he's fantastic as well, because he talks about, running, cycling, triathlons, marathons, bodybuilding, gym, having a business, running a business of sports nutrition,
motivation kind of videos as well.
Yeah, and then he has a lot of stuff then where he's kind of he might be like more of a vlog side of a thing as well. Like he's not just that stuff.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I really like Austin, Texas, so
Yeah,
I watch him for that.
Everyone moved to Texas.
Yeah. Here, I'm telling you now, if like that Dubai gang, like that were there, if you were an influencer or whatever in Dubai during the pandemic, like I just think they're the biggest load of. Oh,
did you see your one who went on to Good Morning Britain? Actually,
what a loser! What a
like,
loser!
you
You're giving them motivation, she said, didn't she?
Yeah,
she gives people motivation. Oh my god!
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I think she did it to take the piss, was just to do the actual call out by a beach, but like out by a swimming pool.
Did you see someone DM'd her giving out, and she responded like, oh, thanks love, whatever, here's my Range Rover that I got from being this or whatever. Hold on, you don't even know it yet. That guy took the number plate, you can look it up, like and she was leasing the car, she was renting the car, she rented the Range Rover, like that says it all.
Yeah, no, I do get you, and it's very tough because it's as if they're trying to make out like
It's
it's being rude for
toxic.
them, and like what's stopping you from doing a home workout, at home and putting that up because people can
But
relate
never
to it
even mind
more,
that, but
you
just
know
the
what I
whole, like, I think if you took like the average IQ of any of those fellas like out there, like they're absolutely brain dead, and
mean?
they just think,
uh,
oh, let's go to Dubai, like,
like
oh,
I know Matt does fitness go over,
maybe for a holiday, but I'm one of the people that just decide to pick up and leave and
yeah.
just stay there, like, and they're like influencers out in Dubai, like that whole phase.
Yeah, it's a very it's yeah, it beats me. Like I haven't watched much on it recently,
Like, I
but
think Rob Lipsett touches on that kind of side too much, which is why I don't really like him.
yeah, no,
Um,
I do get you. I used to like Rob a lot more back, as I said,
yeah,
like
when he was a
when he was more
normal lad.
informational and stuff, and when he did videos with Joey D and that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
now
I
he's at
know,
Marbella as well, like, and you're just like, all right,
yeah, no,
legend. And he's
yeah.
on about, oh yeah, I'll get my Mercedes shipped over. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, I kind of did like the idea when he did move to London that time, and he was trying to like experience more
I
like the
respect that.
It was kind of like he was trying to do like a Neistat, a Casey Neistat in like some of the way
Hmm.
he was doing, like he was like cycling and he was like going on the skateboard and stuff.
No,
But
I see why that was a good business move
do
for
you get,
him.
yeah, but it just didn't really,
But this whole Dubai Marbella, I think, is like,
yeah, yeah.
what, just so that you can go to the, like, it. I think they're hanging on to the fact that you can go to the gym all year round. But I think also it's like,
They don't want to be in a lockdown at home.
yeah, but like your viewers don't either.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But that's what I'm saying. Like they'd move there. Like that's a huge factor. Is why they don't want to just sit at home in a lockdown. Like they'd rather be
yeah, but like,
abroad. Yeah.
I think you lose. I think they've lost more respect than gained respect from doing it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Like,
I
I think, imagine now if you were one of them, let's say one of them, like Joe Delaney, he stayed and he's doing a lot of home stuff.
yeah.
He's loaded. He could go off to Dubai for a week or a month or a year or whatever, like if he wanted to, or same with Marbella or whatever. He
y-
didn't,
Yeah, no,
because
I get you.
he's a down to earth guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even like someone like TMC who loves the holidays and that, and
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a proper rave head, and he didn't
Yeah.
even go out there or whatever.
But yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think that kind of
Wraps
covered,
it up, yeah.
yeah, covered most topics there.
Yeah, and we can go into some other ones in more detail, specifically
Absolutely.
at the later date.
Kind of hit everything quite broadly there, but as you say, we can go quite deep with a lot of the topics.
Yeah, maybe if we get a guest or two on as well sometime.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll get that sorted.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.